Hello friends, today is my 12th presentation for the Corporate Finance and Accounts team. This is topic is Developing Financial Authority Manual by Corporate Finance and Accounts, and this is my 43rd presentation considering all the YouTube presentation which I have made so far. What is included in this presentation? Number one, the purpose of having a financial authority manual. Number two, a few list of examples of 21 high value transactions in 10 different functions put together. List of 11 activities for developing an authorization manual. Then there are 5 templates. Template 1 is for authorization norms for purchase function with 1 illustration. Template 2 for authorization norms for sales and marketing function, 3 illustrations. Template 3 for authorization norms for activation of various documents in ERP environments, 2 illustrations. Template 4 authorization norms for purchase order oblique agreements plus JV general vouchers originating from finance and account functions, 2 illustrations. Template 5 authorization norms for PV purchase vouchers, payment plus payment realization against sales invoices in the finance and account function, 2 illustration. Also, it includes the activities that can affect business adversely vis-a-vis process of developing the authorization manual, this including unethical activities. Purpose of having a financial authority manual. Such a manual is aimed to serve as a guideline that clearly outlines the authority's responsibilities related to the financial decision making process, to serve as a document that enables financial controls, transparency and accountability in the organization across all functions, to avoid any confusion and delays in making decisions, to serve as a structured manual to minimize risk of unethical activities, to facilitate the implementation of the budgeting process and compliance culture, and to facilitate empowerment culture, enabling focus on value-adding activities by senior hierarchy. Few examples of the high-value transactions for inclusions are as below. Purchase or materials functions. There are 4 documents identified in my book. The 2 examples are purchase order or agreements or contracts or service orders for buying of the inputs, oblique bill of materials, etc., and buying of services. Number 2 is invoices of the vendors or consultants or contractors or service providers, and so on. Sales and marketing function. For example, channel partner agreements, letters and letters, etc. Number 2 is agency commission of authorized channel partners, and so on. The remaining 4 documents. Manufacturing or engineering functions. 3 documents identified. For number 1, purchase order or agreement or contract and service orders for buying of the assets and capital items. Then number 2, outsourced manufacturing or assembly operations. Quality control, quality assurance function. Purchase order agreements, contracts or service orders for buying of QC equipments or gauges or instrument and services. Inspection services. Number 2, outsourced inspection, testing services, etc. Next is IT, ERP and software. Purchase orders or agreements or contracts and service orders for buying of the IT network and infrastructure and all type of IT hardware and software. Then ERP software and implementation and annual support, licensing fees and other software, etc. All these you will appreciate, they will need some kind of authorization norm for the financial transactions. HR functions. Letters towards appointment, promotions, retirement, termination. Who should authorize this? Payroll, computation related documents prepared in-house, payroll prepared in-house or by outsourced agencies, and so on. Administration function. One example, purchase orders or agreements or contracts or service orders, etc. for buying of the administrative materials or services like food and beverage, security services, and so on and so forth. Legal function, agreement or contracts or service orders for hiring of outsourced advocates or legal firms or court appearances and such similar expenses. Number 2 is authorization norms for the bank guarantees, performance guarantees, bonds, undertakings for submission to the statutory agencies, and so on and so forth. Finance and accounts functions. Activation of approved purchase order agreements in the ERP and software for release of payments, activation of the approved agreements with channel partners, dealers, distributors towards the sale of products and services, etc., and so on and so forth. More documents can be seen in my book. Construction projects, for example, purchase order for buying of the construction materials called BOQ, agreements or contracts for civil works, interior work, MEP engineering packages, and consultancy. Then common to all function, invoices raised by any business entity not included in the above, and debit notes, reimbursement, claim vouchers of the business associates for entities listed above, and so on and so forth. Now, list of 11 activities for developing authorization manual. These are by and large common for each of the functions, and these include following: 1. Providing policy directions, directives to CFO and HODs regarding the empowerment based on the risk appetite of the company. By the This is to be policy directions to be originate from the board or from the managing director or CEO. Number two, designing the structure and contents of the authority document manual. Number three, identifying the function-wise workflows and documents for each of the functions that need to be authorized. Number four is identifying corresponding financial workflows and documents that need to be authorized in the ERP as applicable vis-a-vis functional documents. This includes, for example, proposing authority norms for each of the above type of documents in consultation with the HODs for each function, ensuring segregation of duties while proposing these norms. Now, by segregation of duties, I mean that in this case, who can initiate the transaction, who can review and edit the transaction, who can approve the transaction, I mean the financial transaction. Now, so these proposed authority norms must have separate columns for these, as will be seen in the coming next few slides. Approval of the next point 6 is approval of the authorization documents as above in consultation with the CFO and concerned HOD of the respective function. Number 7 is maintaining controlled original approved financial authority documents or financial authority manual. This is very, very important because sometimes organizations tend to use obsolete documents. Point 8, controlled circulation of the CEOs, MDs approved financial authority documents through hard copies or through soft copies to HODs of respective function for implementation. Forwarding the copy of the CEO MD approved document to HOD IT ERP for planning workflows and embedding this in the business process in the respective module. This is also very, very important, particularly in the ERP environments. Point 9, ensuring that authority documents become a part of the SOP of each function. Number 10, periodic review of the each of the above authorization norms, because there can be changes in the documents or persons or levels, etc. Point 11, software programming of or using the workflows in addition of the alternate to hard or soft copies in the IT ERP packages solutions to incorporate all the empowerment mentioned above with inputs from CFO, and getting such workflows tested and approved from respective HOD CFO, and providing training to all the key team members nominated by the HOD for smooth implementation of the authority norms. Now, I'm giving few templates. The first template is for authorization norms for the purchase function with a one illustration. Now, let's look at this. This is comprising of the 7 columns. Column number 1 is description of the document or extra item to be authorized. Number 2 is unit of measurement, column 2. Column 3 is the currency. Column 4 is the financial limit. And next one is who is initiated by, who can initiate, who can review, column number 6, and finally who can approve. So there are different norms being suggested. For example, the first line item is purchase order for the individual bill of materials or aggregates etc., including orders for job workers and subsequent amendments in the rates or terms within the purchase policy, which is highlighted in the note following. And for example, the first row says that the norm is based on the unit of measurement is rate per unit, currency is say rupees, financial limit is say up to rupees 10 per unit of a item, initiated by say senior officer, reviewed by deputy manager, approved by a manager. So here I am proposing 3-level final approval process: initiated by, reviewed by, and approved by. Now, the second line item in this is again a item where the rate per unit is say 10 to 100. The first one was up to 10 rupees. Third line item is 100 to 500 rupees, and fourth item is say above 500 rupees per unit of each item. So here you can see that the different, as the rate per unit is increasing, the hierarchy level for final approval of these purchase orders etc. is also increasing. For example, in the case of item of say 500 rupees per unit, the initiation is by deputy general manager, the review is by general manager, and approval is by director and CEO. Number 2 is the next line item 1B, is purchase order for individual items where the items buying is proposed as a beyond 1 year of consumption or outside the purchase policy, which I'll just share in the next page. So there are what I'm proposing is that in such cases wherever there are such policy deviations or the buying is being planned for a longer duration, the slabs above slabs per unit wise rate unit wise remain same, but the what I'm proposing is that the level for hierarchical level should be at least one level higher for each of the line item. For example, in case say line item number 1 itself, say where the unit rate is rupees 10 and purchase order is authorized by initiated by senior officer, reviewed by deputy manager and approved by manager. Here I am proposing that supposing the buying is done for more than 1 year or there are some policy deviations like payment terms etc. And so on and so forth. So here the level should be instead of senior officer it should be deputy manager. And in case of for the review of such items beyond 1 year or policy deviation, the review should be by the manager and approval should be by the deputy general manager instead of manager, and so on and so forth. Here the description, documents, values, currency etc. as indicated in the column number 1 to 3 are only for understanding only. Organization can surely amend these at their absolute discretion. Separate norms can be for different currencies. There can be different norms for different currencies. Different hierarchical norms can be prescribed for approving the purchase order for different categories of items. For example, here I have prescribed just one norm for irrespective of the type of the item, like steel or aluminium or proprietary or anything. But what I am saying is that these norms can also be differentiated for different kind of technologies like steel, aluminium, electronic, proprietary, rubber, etc. etc. Next point is that financial limit in column number 2, column number 4 is only hypothetical, only for understanding, and these can be amended as the discretion of the CFO management. And point number 3 is that designation in column in 567 column like senior officer, deputy manager, etc. etc. They are all only for hypothetical and can be changed at the discretion of the organization based on the how lean is the organization. By purchase policy, I mean this may include aspects like advance payments without bank guarantee, comparative costs, credit periods, prior sample approvals, buying from single source, and so on and so forth. There are different policy components. So I'm saying in case the buying is as per the policy component, these norms are there. But in case of any deviation of the policy component, I'm proposing that the norm should be still higher. And standard agreement may include various aspect terms which are relevant to the buying. Now number 2 is the template is for say sales and marketing function. For example, here the number of column is same 7. The template format is same as in template 1. Here for example in the first column, first line item is agreement with the channel partners or dealers or distributor etc etc as relevant. And here I am saying is that financial limit within the policy norms, it can be approved by the say area manager, it can be reviewed by the regional manager for the territory and approved by the HOD of the sales function. Now let's look at the other case. Any deviation to the above policy, for example, it can be initiated by regional manager, reviewed by the HOD and approved by the CEO or MD plus CFO. Similarly, next line item 2A, third line is 2A. It is agency commission payable to the authorized channel partners or distributors, dealers, etc. as per the agreement, as per the policy guidelines. Here it is the unit of measurement percentage or the amount per unit of the sale price. This is normally the way the payments are made. So what I am saying is that this can be recommended by sales staff, reviewed by area manager and approved by regional manager sales. And similarly I am saying higher level for the any deviation to this. Now let's understand another one, incentive claims which are payable to the channel partners in accordance with the authorized incentive schemes. Here also I am proposing initiated by area manager, reviewed by regional manager and approved by HOD sales, and so on and so forth. Here column number 1 to 3 are exactly similar to those in template 1 and hence not being duplicated. Channel agreement policy, by what I mean by the sales policy or channel agreement policy is that it may include aspects such as minimum score on the standard evaluation parameters for agency, for example size of the plot, building layouts, etc., or the channel partner, investment norms for the building infrastructure, and investment norms for the after sales service, skilled manpower availability, initial space buying, signage, display standards, financial security deposit, experience in similar dealership, etc., etc. There are different kind of components which will make up the channel policy. So what I am saying is that if there are any deviations vis-a-vis the channel policy, these norms for the channel partner engagement or agency commission, they should change. They should be on the higher side. And guidelines for the agency commission, this may include aspects like percentage commission payable or rupees per unit sold, evidence of shipment received by the customer, sales realization amount transferred to the company, selling price invoice to the customer as per the approved list, sales return within the policy. These are the components which make up which must be factored in for before the agency commission is authorized, and of course the credit period for the agency. Template 3 is for authorization norm for activation of the various documents in the ERP environment, for example SAP. Now here I have in the line 1 the columns are same, 7 columns template in the template, and here the activation example is line item number 1 is activation of the approved purchase order agreement in the ERP for release of the payments. See, first is step is that approval of the purchase order, etc. Okay, that mostly it remains with the concerned department like purchase department or any other department. Okay, thereafter it has to be activated in the ERP before it is payment can be released, because finance people, they need to check various things about the purchase orders, like the whether the authorization norm is followed, whether the payment terms are as per the corporate policy, whether the taxation rates are appropriate, and so on and so forth. Whether the legal clauses are as per the statutory requirements or not. So only after that these need to be activated. So here I am suggesting say value in the first case, value up to 5 lakhs of the purchase order, say staff can initiate, assistant manager can review, and it can be approved by a deputy manager. Now here I am suggesting purchase account. Now I am proposing two three categories within the finance function: purchase account, sales account, and general ledger account. So for approval of this authorization for the PV related matters, I am proposing these to be done by the purchase accounting within the corporate finance and accounts function or finance and accounts function. So the line number 2, for example, the value of the purchase order is say 5 to 25 lakhs. Here I am proposing initiation by assistant manager, reviewed by deputy manager, and final approval by manager purchase, and so on and so forth. So here you will see that I am not necessarily proposing very high value within the purchase finance account function, because these have been previously approved by the hierarchy in the purchase function, and and as long as they are within the policy terms, I think these are all right. But anyway, the organization can exercise their own discretion in changing the hierarchical levels. Now another thing is activation of the approved agreements for the channel partners. Here also I am saying similar kind of approach is followed. Here you will find that here the hierarchical teams are from sales account instead of purchase account, and these are the people who deal with the sales accounting within the finance account function. The concept is similar, and here the uh, the organization CFO, MD, etc., they can decide what all designation can be added or deleted or modified. And one thing very important which I am saying, which is applicable for purchase vouchers as well as such kind of vouchers anywhere throughout this, is that any purchase order agreements which have not been previously approved by the purchase function or the sales functions agreements, etc., as per the approved norms, these should not be activated by finance and accounts in the ERP and must be amended. It is also desirable that all purchase order agreements which are beyond a threshold value, say rupees 1 lakh or so, must are also vetted by legal and secretarial team before these are approved by the respective purchase or sales functions. Template 4, it is for the activation of the purchase order agreements which are originating from finance and account function or general vouchers. There are two illustrations because finance and accounts also, they also engage advisor, they also engage consultants, they also they have investment brokers, merchant bankers, etc., etc. So here I am suggesting different value norms in this example. Say value column number 4 up to 5 lakhs, then 5 to 25 lakhs, above 25 lakhs. Here I am suggesting that it is not the purchase account team, it is not the sales account team, it is the corporate accounts team which is proposed for initiating, reviewing and approving of this such kind of purchase order or agreements. Of course, a different organization can have different names for this corporate accounts team, like GL team. Now, third one, another example is that let's say that we are looking at the approval of the borrowing or investment related proposals and agreements. So here I am just proposing in this example of 2A, preparation of the proposals or bids, negotiations and approval of the agreements such as below, like borrowing agreements, treasury investments agreements, merger and acquisition, joint ventures, FDI investments, banking, stock exchange related transactions, regulatory transactions. Here I am proposing primarily that such things are being high value. Initiation is done by the general manager accounts, corporate accounts. The review is done by the head legal and secretarial functions, and approval is by CFO CEO. So here you will appreciate that because of the considering the nature of these transactions, I am involving here, proposing here two different teams. One is from the corporate accounts, second is from the legal. That is column number 5 is for the accounts, corporate accounts function, and review is by the head legal and secretarial functions. Okay, and the head of the relevant function. For example, review could be in the case of joint venture agreement, it could be also the head of the manufacturing function also. Okay, any deviation to the above, I am proposing still higher norms. Initiation by the CFO, review by the CEO, and final approval by the board subcommittee because these have very high implications. And activation for the above, I am proposing different norms. Once these are approved, the activation is not a big deal. Now, here the point 1 to 3 in the columns are similar to template 1, 2 and 3. So therefore, I am not elaborating further on this. Lastly, the template 5, which is for payment release vouchers and payment realization against sales invoices. Earlier, I had proposed mostly for the outflow related, expense related PVs, etc. Here I am talking of the payment which is coming from the customers or from the dealers, channel partners, etc., etc. So here the first line item here is payment vouchers for payment release to vendors, contractors. This is practically similar to the one which I had shared earlier. Now this is important. The payment inflow, which is the sales voucher for payment realization against invoices of the products or services or spares, etc., to different customers or channel partners. So here also I am just proposing different kind of three segregation duty norms: initiated by, reviewed by, and approved by. This will prevent any kind of unethical issues which might be arise. Activities which can cause adverse effect on the organization vis-a-vis the financial authority norms. The participation involvement of the HODs in developing authorization norms is low. Authority norms proposed are skewed in some of the functions. That means favoring particular team, particular level. Number 3, authority norms do not factor in following: size of the organization, hierarchical levels and positions, complexity of the business operations, degree of automation, risk appetite of the company, and ethical environments and culture of the company. Next point is which can cause unethical things is uncontrolled financial authority documents, manuals are available in some of the functions which can cause havoc. The workflow developed are not robust or not as per the pre-tested approved by the user functions. The list of workflows and documents identified are not comprehensive. The actual approval is done by someone lower than the mentioned in the authority document deliberately. And periodic updation of authority document is not done. Therefore, the concept of auditor is very, very important, who has done all these approvals. For more details on this, you can please refer to my second book titled Profitability and Ethics, Essential Ingredients for Business Ethics. It has been listed in the Amazon as per the link below. And you can also refer to several blogs on my website related to the corporate finance account function under the blog category, all industries. And the my web address is given here. You can also refer to some of the article on the Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you very much.